Hello, everybody. My name's Bob Saunders, and if you've been following my channel, you'll know that I've been absent for a while because I've been unwell. And I'd like to take this opportunity to say that I'm back, and I'd like to explain a few things. Actually, I want to explain three things, and excuse me, as usual, I've got some notes. So I'm going to explain. I'm going first of all to thank all the people that wish me well. Then I'm going to tell you, if I may, what happened to me and why I was unwell. And then I'd like to explain to you a bit about healing works or doesn't work. Okay? Now, first of all, I am so grateful to all the people, hundreds of people that contacted me to wish me well and to inquire after my health and so on. I'm really very grateful for your thoughts and prayers, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And of course, I'd like to thank our son Paul, who helped run, did a bit on video to tell you what was going on, but also to help run the house while I was ill in bed. And of course my wife, who looked after me and so on. And also the gentleman that set up a website for me, because we got plans of things we want to do and it was all put on standby. Now, so thank you everybody that was helping me with all that. Now, the second point is, what did I say? Hang on, what a brain I've got. Oh yeah, I thought I owed it to you to tell you why I was unwell. And it was quite simple. I had a bad back. Now, what the cause of this back problem was, when I was about 12 years old at school, I had a sporting accident. I went to a school that had vast playing fields, cricket, and it was in England, so we had cricket and football fields, and we had a sports track and all the rest of it. And there was a high jump place, right, which consisted of just an earth patch that you ran up to, a bar, you know, the high jump bar, and some sand that you fell down on the other side. And up till that point, people, if this is the bar, people would come running up and go straight over the top like this and land on the sand. They sort of just do a great big hop over the bar. Well, a new technique came out which was called the Western Roll, and that consisted of coming up to the bar, laying on your side, going over the bar and down. And that enabled people to jump a bit higher. So I thought I'd have a go at that. What I didn't realise was that between the earth patch where you ran up and the sand where you were meant to come crashing down, there was a concrete strip. I didn't see that. So I came flying up to this bar, went over on, imagine the bar, came over on my side, but I sort of took off a bit early. I came crashing down on the bar, and more importantly, I crashed down onto the concrete strip, and I damaged the bottom of my spine area here, what it's all called. And gradually over the years, I've started to get arthritis and stuff, and it's gradually getting worse and worse. Now, back at the end of March, I think it was, one of these arthritic attacks suddenly hit, and I had a lot of pain. So this is where you're going to think that I'm crazy, and I'm sorry to talk about this because I'm sure that very few people are going to be able to appreciate this, but I thought this would be a golden opportunity to understand what pain is really all about, because normally if I get one of these arthritic attacks, I take painkillers and I get my guides to help me and I get over it fairly quickly. But I get contacted by lots of people that have different illnesses, and they tell me that they're in great pain. And I've never been really in great pain. And I thought to myself, this will be a golden opportunity to understand what pain's all about so that I can better help people. Because after all, if you want to help people become a chef, you need yourself to have knowledge of how to cook. If you want to help people become athletes or swimmers, you need to be an experienced swimmer yourself, to have been through all the trials and tribulations of learning athletics or swimming or whatever in order to help people. So I know you won't believe me, but I thought I would go through this experience to learn what pain was all about. And so I did. And for 3 months, I laid in bed with the most incredible suffering, but I did it deliberately in order to know what pain is really all about. Now, my doctor, I don't know what you, depending on what country you come from, you'd have a different name for him, but the doctor that looks after our family, he came round once, and I could see clearly in his eyes that he'd never had a moment's pain in his life. And he was asking me what was wrong with me, and because I already knew what the problem was, that it's this arthritis that has caused a growth that touches the sciatic nerve, and that causes all this pain. And I was trying to describe to him what pain was really like, severe pain, and I could see in his eyes he hadn't got a clue. He didn't know what I was talking about because he'd never had pain. And I thought to myself, well, how can you, a doctor, treat people if you don't know what's going on? Anyway, that's that. I went through it. I'm back out the other side now. I'm feeling fine again, thank you. It took me a week or two to get sort of my moral strength back up to speed, but I'm back, and I thank you very much for all the help that you gave me. Now, the last thing is, I want to explain how healing works. Now, as you may know, we've all got auras around us, and depending on what's wrong with you, these auras will either cause suffering within the person, or they won't. Now, in the case of a physical accident, a broken leg, that's not really got much to do with auras. It's got to do with the physical body. And if you get a healer come in, there's not much that he can do, because the problem is not in the auras, it's in the physical body. Now, it is true to say that it will work backwards. Normally, the illness works from the auras into the physical body. But if you've got a broken leg or whatever, broken arm, whatever it might be, it's true to say that it will reflect in the auras. And it's also true that a healer can pour energy into that aura, which will help heal the broken bones. But basically, if somebody's got physical illnesses, it's really down to going to hospital and getting plasters and all the rest of it, because there's not a great deal that a healer can do. We certainly don't have magic wands and so on. So this is not shades of Harry Potter. We can't mend bones just like that. Now, there's another sort of illness altogether, that a typical example would be cancer. Now, I've got to be careful what I say here, because I don't want to upset anybody who's got cancer or has a member of their family or a loved one who has cancer. But cancer starts in the emotions, because the person that gets cancer starts off to feel that they are in some way lacking something. They look round and they see all the adverts on television for everybody buying new cars, and they can't afford one. They look round at their neighbours all going endlessly summer and winter on holiday, and they can't afford to. They look at people at work getting promotion, and they're not getting promotion. And it goes on and on like that. And if a person really takes that on board, it can, I'm not saying it will, it can promote a disaccord in the auras, which eventually causes a disaccord in the physical body. And the growth, how can I explain this? The growth that should be taking place in the auras takes place in the physical body. I haven't explained that very well. And cancer is actually the cells of your body growing in a random fashion. That's what cancer is. And so I'll just sort of repeat this, and please don't think that I'm in any way criticizing anybody. I'm not. But cancer is caused by people thinking that they are in some way lacking in some of life's so-called luxuries. In fact, if they were to get all those luxuries, they would very quickly realise that it doesn't make a lot of difference. You don't need all that stuff to be happy. You just need to accept to be happy. It's as simple as that. But that is what happens in the case of something like cancer. And there are a number of other illnesses that start in the auras. And so this is where a healer can help, providing the cancer sufferers or the person that has one of these sort of illnesses, providing that person wants to change. The healer pours energy into an aura of the person, which will start to repair the disaccord in that aura. And then if the person, the sufferer, really and genuinely wants to become better, that will work through to the physical body and will effect a cure. Now, if the person wants to be cured, but at the same time wants to hang on to this desire to have more and more and more, then I think you can see that there's not much that a healer can do. Healing can work, and it does work in many, many cases, but it's also up to the sufferer to accept that he or she needs to change their emotional attitude also. Okay? So I'll just reiterate all that, then I'll stop, that if you've got something physically wrong with you, like a broken leg or a broken arm, or in my case, this back with arthritis, there's not a lot that a healer can do. People have written into me, if you're a healer, why don't you cure yourself, or why don't you get guides to heal you? Well, as I already said, I wanted to go through this to know what it was like to be in pain. And second of all, there's not much that one can do to change physical things. It can be done to a certain extent, but it's difficult just with a wave of a magic wand to mend a broken leg. With the other sort of stuff that comes from the emotions, then a cure can be more easily done, provided the sufferer wishes to accept that healing power and to accept to change him or herself to become a more stable, forgiving, loving, calm sort of person, and not to worry about things that they don't need to worry about. Don't know if any of that makes sense. I'll just repeat, for all of you who sent in your kind thoughts, thank you very much. I'm most grateful, and I'm glad to be back. And I hope to go on and on now, if providing all the time you want me to make more videos, I will do so. So thank you very much indeed. Bye.